everyone, Ivy Gaming here, and today we're playing Dragonheir Silent Gods. For today's video, I'm gonna head on in and do one of my Continental Challenge fights. We're going in versus the boss week 2 fire. Today's video is sponsored by Dragonheir Silent Gods, my favorite sponsor because it's my favorite game that I've played in a long time. Be sure to join us for Season 3, Dive Deep, Battle Peak. There's a ton of new heroes, new bosses, and lots to explore. Be sure to download via Android, iOS, Mac, PC, Steam, or Epic Games if you haven't already, and use the currently working promo codes. Alright, so we're going to be going in against the Necrosis boss. This is the 1 week to fire damage. I'm choosing to go with this first because this is my personal best, I guess, DPS setup that's ready. So this will be the first one that I try to get the most damage for. So here we are, the Chief Challenge, Necrosis boss. The guy kind of looks like Zadok, right? Looks pretty cool. So we're going to go in here and view the information. So the first passive, when the monster has 1 or more buffs, decreases the damage they take by 20%. That's important with the passive. We're going to want to remove them. Immune to control effects, okay. The hero gains stackable total damage bonus over time. So this is kind of like all the bosses have that, so the difficulty ramps up as they go along, as far as them doing more damage. And these are 18-second rotations, not 20-second rotations, so that's important to keep in mind. The first skill, he gains a random buff, dealing necrotic damage. It can be attack up, defense up, damage reduction. And then his second skill, he gains a random buff as well. So you can see that's the same skill again. And then his ultimate is he deals necrotic damage to all enemies. So positioning won't matter for that. When the monster has 1 or more buffs, the damage dealt by the skill ignores the target's shield. So again, you don't want him to have any buffs. If you have shields on your heroes, he's going to ignore them. And immortality and invincibility debuffs. So the key is going to be keeping the buffs off this hero. So stripping the buffs after this skill before he goes with the ultimate is going to be key. So our and this is fire damage it's weak against. So luckily there's a few heroes that are going to be really good for this. So before I go in with my OP team, I'm going to mention to you guys here who I think will be really strong. So luckily with fire, of course, we have Victor, who is going to be who I use. He removes buffs with his ultimate and with his battle skill. So he's just awesome, honestly. He's perfect. So that is something you can actually look up here as well. So instance, we can look at buff dispelling or buff steal. And luckily Dane can do that. So as you can see, that's one. But also, I really like the idea of Ferrara for this. Dispels 2 buffs on her ultimate. And puts up buff prohibition on her battle skill. And then we have Liko, who also can dispel buffs as well. But hers is a little quirkier, so I don't think she's as ideal. And then this also lists the other heroes that can handle it as far as legendaries go. So Dane has, where is his steal? Steals all their buffs when targeting enemies with below 50%. Steals all of them. And then 100% chance to steal 2 buffs or dispel 2 buffs to enemies within range. So Dane as well. I forgot. He is actually going to be very good for this. So if you don't have the legendary option like Victor, Garrica, I mean, these heroes are really cool. They're going to be great for this. As support, you might want to use one of those epics. But alright, I'm going to go ahead in here. I'm going to be using Wild. I think Wild's really perfect for this. And honestly, I have a really good Vortex team, of course. So why not, right? Why not? Is this my team? Yes. Okay, so let's go in with my Vortex team, except we're going to change out our Dreth. I'm actually gonna try to build Victor, as I said, as a tank. So position's not gonna matter because it's all enemies. Deals damage to the target. So let's just click this really quick. And you can see the skills better here. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. It just says deals damage to the target. Who's the target? I guess just the tank. All right, let's get back here. So we just need our tank. All right, so doesn't really matter where we put people. It's not actually going to matter unless it matters for someone like Flora with the fan. So that does matter. I have Flora in the Queen fan here. Enlightenment chest. She does have this increased damage, defense penalty glove, and crit rate. Enlightenment rune, but only epic. I need a legendary one, and I haven't had much luck with my enlightenment substats for the other runes either. So this is just kind of my best gear in the set that I have, but it definitely could be better for Flora. And I don't have her exclusive. I have Erich in the Ring of Scarlet, and again, he's just built for damage. He does have a defense glove on right now because he was dying really early in my battle versus Vortex. And this, getting him to survive, plus this triple crit rate roll, giving him good crit rate, and this amazing substat actually totally makes this worth it. It just made getting some crit rate a little harder. His crit rate's low. I actually had re-geared him. I don't know what I did. I kind of messed up his crit. I think I need to put more crit here. But I'm really lacking negative runes. I haven't really farmed that yet. So that's on the list. That's Erich. Tunnel on should be fine as well to go in here. She's gonna be well, not a tank. So, but she's gonna take some hits. But she's here in Witch's Remains with enough accuracy and then built for damage and a little bit of survivability. And Cinderella is gonna be our gatekeeper staff instead of a Garius, focusing on attack mainly as well for the sake of his heals. So we're just gonna kind of chill here, and then we're gonna have a tank, right? We're gonna have our tank of Victor. So I'm gonna build Victor as a tank and then come right back. Alright, here's my Victor built as a tank with the eye patch to prevent big hits. So add some survivability, and I did put him in the puppet set to share the defense to the other allies, so that'll help tunnel on. And then he's in an HP percent and a defense percentage glove there and chest. I've heard this one's actually pretty easy. I think we are going to need some timers, so let's go ahead and save our lineup. This is an OP lineup. It is like all legendaries plus Huddlenon. I get it. Fire. Now we all know it's Necrosis weak to fire. Alright, so here's the problem. I might actually have to... Okay, I have to go fix Victor. I'm silly. Victor kind of needs to go every 18 seconds. That's not happening with what I put him in. So let me actually just give him the hourglass instead, and then he can go every 18 seconds. I think that'll be fine because it's still going to help his survivability. Should be fine. And then he'll definitely be able to be timed accordingly. So let's set our skill type. Victor's the only one I really care about. I want him to go before the boss's ultimate. And then we're going to keep him in an 18-second rotation. I mean, these do matter. So for the sake of, let's see, we're going to stay in a 20-second rotation for everybody, which is pretty much what it is. But I want to make sure Erich goes after Flora and Tananon. So I'm just going to do that. And same thing with Cinderella, honestly. Yeah, I'll leave him at 12 seconds. That's fine, because then he'll use his heal and shield at the ultimate. Alright. Save our presets, and let's just let this roll. So again, I know this is like it's an OP legendary team, including an exclusive hero, guys. I get it. You don't need to complain that it's all legendaries. I know someone will. But that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to showcase, well, yeah, I want to showcase my team. I want to see what my team can do. But also talk about the boss mechanics to make sure people understand it. So the overall is luckily or unluckily, position's not going to matter. The only positioning that's going to matter is based on your heroes you're using, if they need to be in a specific spot for certain skills. So don't worry about the boss. And yeah, we're going to have Victor be our tank. Why not? And buff stripping is very important for this. So let's do it. And there you have it. We survived the whole time. No problems at all. And some pretty amazing damage. I think that's really solid. I've seen a lot of people do some pretty solid damage in the 40s and 50s. I think I'm pretty happy with that, actually. I really do think that's okay. I don't know what I expect, honestly. But the reality is, just a reminder here, guys, this is about ranking as well. So I'm not going to save this because I still have a few days left. And for each week, you kind of want to maximize your potential. So it's good to test your teams and maybe tweak. Like maybe I, use a different artifact, like put oh, I think I really need the gatekeeper staff. What am I saying? But yeah, you could test, you could play, you could throw on a organ pipe. But at the end of the day, I don't want to accept until it's close to the end because we want to try to rank on this leaderboard. The more we rank, the higher we rank for damage overall, the better our rewards. And this is super cool that they're doing these like chests with equipment. I love it. That's so fun. But this is each weekly ranking. Reward preview leaderboard, right? Or this is the whole thing. Yeah, ends in 3 days. So this is the first week ranking. You kind of want to see how you're going to do. And you want to wait until you have the best gear possible. I could get some better gear for some of those people. Or I could try to change my gear as well and see, like, mix it up and test more before the end of this. So that's kind of why you don't want to do it right away. Just a little reminder there. But yeah, this was, again, this was a discussing the boss and a showcase of my team and see what it could do. I'm pretty happy to see a solid number like that. I really don't think you can't see what people's teams are or how much their damage was. And you can't, like, tell what this points really mean until you've accepted your points. So it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to judge where you're going to fall in the lineup. But yeah, you really want to aim, of course, for the 22 million of each one. So honestly, the highest reward level, including 3, it includes 5 or per week, All right, here we go. The rewards every week, you want to aim for this 22 million because, you kind of want as many orbs as possible because that's how you get your hero and maybe some other stuff along the way. And the more ore you get by hitting the max damage, the less you have to summon to get the extra rewards for this event. And also keep in mind that the hardest one is the one that's weak against poison. So the fire boss is the hardest. So I would suggest that people do not do that one until it's actually your last option, because you'll like the first week you'll do 3, and then you'll do 4, and then 5, and then 6. So save that fire boss to the end because you want the best points to compete each week against the competition for the sake of rankings. And if it's really, really hard to get fire boss beat with poison heroes unless you have Rook, well, you probably don't want to do that unless you have a Rook and maybe even his exclusive until the end. The rest of them I've heard are pretty easy to get 22 million, so go ahead, play around, see what happens. And yeah, again, hope you enjoyed my little showcase and quick discussion of the hero or the boss itself. And I will see you in the next video. Be sure to download via Android, iOS, Mac, PC, Steam, or Epic Games if you haven't already. And thanks again to Dragonheir Silent Gods for sponsoring today's video.